Good afternoon, my friends. I'm going to try to knock out a quick little lunchtime project today. I've already opened this one previously in the mail, so we won't be needing any of this. I hope. If we do, we're in trouble. It's some lotion on my hand. It is a MXR microamp block logo. I don't think that there was a script logo. I think this one came later. And I can already tell you, I don't think it works. And it's mad crusty inside. And it was sold as working. However, I dragged my feet on getting to this one, and it's mine. Whether it works or not, I don't think I can do anything about it at this point. So, I've got my hands all lotioned up, and I've got some appropriate gloves here of suitable material, which I want to call nylon or latex, but they aren't, and I forget what they really are. Nitrile. I had to look at the box. Nitrile gloves. Okay, so let's see. I know for sure we're going to need this. Hold on, I think I need another one. Okay. Grab a couple of those. This has a handwritten date of 10/22/82 in there. Kind of interesting. I don't know what that would be. That seems like it's awfully close to the manufacturing date. In fact, I can go ahead and confidently say that somebody didn't write that before the pedal was manufactured. That would not work. I'm just brushing off the back plate right now with a plastic brush. You can probably hear it. I think my plan of attack here is that I'm going to try and brush off the majority of this crusty, dusty, rotted foam and then give it a quick try. I don't think it works. I sort of gave it a quick try during the... What was I doing? Oh, well, I didn't actually make a proper video of it. I guess I should have. I didn't realize it was going to be so fun and exciting, but I calibrated my Boss DM1 delay machine using a signal generator and oscilloscopes yesterday. And as it turns out, it needed it. And it actually sounds noticeably better now. Particularly, the noise level dropped a little bit. And the volumes of the delays versus the dry signal improved to be a more useful range on the knobs. So, I mean, that was okay before. You could dial it in. But it would be like there was a lot of dry and a lot of noise, even when the knobs were kind of maxed. So, yeah, that was a good thing. I made a quick little video. It's on Instagram. I think it made its way to Facebook too. Most of my stuff that's on Facebook, like, is just copied from Instagram. So if you ask me a question on Facebook or you reply to something, like, and I don't see it, like, don't take it personally. It's not that like, oh, but I'm posting stuff there every day, I should see it. It's like, first of all, I'm not the only one who manages that account. Like, I don't do all this stuff myself entirely. But also, yeah, it's just copying over from Instagram usually. But I tried to use this micro amp as a means of getting the appropriate decibel level from my signal generator into it, which I was having a little trouble with for some reason. It wanted a very low signal for one of the operations. I was like, okay, but my signal generator wasn't giving me a very accurate range at something that low, which turned out to be another solvable problem. But in any case, I tried using this as a buffer and a level control, and I don't think it works. I don't think I got anything out of it. Just brushing this off here, trying to get the crusty crusty rotting foam dust out of it. You'll notice there's only a handful of parts in here. It looks to me a whole lot like a Distortion Plus, if you've ever seen one of those. Whew. I did notice that this has a little notch cut out of it there. Somebody must have wanted to slip a lead in for the 9-volt. Not the best way to do that. But when you don't care, you know, I guess you don't care. I'm nearly to seeing a pot date on here. There's still some significant gunk and funk. I can use the rifle cleaning brush. Okay, let's see what we got. Is there a date available for 1/3/7/80? So 80. This says 82. The pot says 80. I'm going to go ahead and call this a... Well, you know, I'd like to call it a... I'm not going to make a call. I'm going to say it's between 80. it's 80 or later. That's all I'm going to say, because this pedal could have been built in 80, and then somebody went in here and changed the battery in 82, or notched out that hole in 82. I don't see those pencil-written dates in other MXR pedals, so I don't think that's really an indicator of anything. Okay, this is clean enough to the point that I'm going to try it. By the way, hot coffee presently, because it's early in the day. Normally I do this stuff after work at night. But now I'm doing it while I'm eating lunch, which I already did. Okay, I'm just firing up the Princeton reverb over here, and grab myself a guitar cable. Okay. Let's see what we get. First, let's check this 9-volt that was inside it. I did that yesterday. I think it was low but appropriate, but I've also got 2 of these here, and I don't know which is which. So hopefully one of them will be good for testing. .2 volts. I'm just going to trash it. It's lower than I want. 8.65 volts. I guess I'll call that good enough for testing this. Input. Okay. I don't know if my signal generator is going to work with gloves on. I have to do it like this. Oh, well, we got nothing. So, there's a sign. Okay, but that's bypassed, right? Okay. All right, so we got a lot of nothing happening. Settle your horses. A hook on my bench to hang these cables from, but then I'm going to stab myself in the stomach with it every time I walk past it. There we go, I'll hang it there. And I guess I'll turn the Turn the amp off. Well, you know, it's not making too much hiss right now. Let me dump some of this dust out of the bin here into my trash can. This has really got to be a quick one. It's either going to be fix it or it becomes a source for pots and switches, because I think I paid about $60 for it. It's not worth my time to spend. Like $60 is about 20 minutes of my hourly rate, so won't be spending too much on that. In fact, it's less than that. Less time, I mean. I don't want to say my hourly rate, because then 3 years later somebody's going to watch this when inflation's destroyed everything further and my rates have gone up and my time has become less, and be like, but you said you'd do it for this. So, well, whatever. Let's say today is Thursday, May 9th, 2024. Presently, my hourly rate for bench labor, any kind of custom work, is $200 an hour with a 1 hour minimum, which means if you send me something, if I set that package down on my bench and open it, it's $200. Even if the box ends up being empty or having something broken, or the repair bill, you know, exceeds the value of it and you decide not to move forward, I still get paid for that hour, because there's overhead and administration involved. That's pretty typical for anybody doing trades work or whatever. Custom work, of course. Okay, we got all that out. Let me dump this. Brush it out a little bit more. So, a couple people have reached out and asked me if I would fix their pedals. I'm sorry, guys, I don't fix pedals. I mean, you know, maybe I would if it was like got an original Univibe or a fuzz face or something. Like, okay, cool, reach out. That's kind of like along my lines. But because of my labor rate, you probably don't want me doing that. I mean, you don't want to pay me $400 to fix a $300 pedal, right? You don't buy another one. But if it's something vintage, I mean, that's what we do. I don't typically work on anything that is later than the 1970s. There's some exceptions. If you have a vertical 2-hole input Marshall 2203 from 1982, and you want me to do something with it, I might. I'm going to brush this off a little bit because it's awfully crusty. I really want to get the switch clean, because there's a chance the switch could have the most value of anything in this pedal. Oh, that's nasty stuff. I don't need this pot to be spotlessly clean. I'm not trying to make it look like it never had skunky foam on it to begin with, because it did, and that's how MXR pedals are made. But I don't want this stuff to get inside of it. That's my concern. I should also say, kind of, regarding fixing vintage pedals, depending what it is, I'm also not the most qualified person for that work. This stuff is not... I mean, this is a little operational amplifier. I feel fairly confident in my ability with this, but there's guys that have more experience with some other things, especially if it's digital or complicated analog electronics. It's a little bit beyond what I usually do. Okay, let's... Okay, output's on the right from this side. Let's have another listen. Now that we have it cleaned up, I'm ready to poke around with it a little bit more. Sounds promising, but it might be bypassed. Okay, first of all, let's not short the board out on my... Something. Battery connector toast. All right. I gotta take these gloves off. I think it's clean enough that I can do that now. Hands are getting hot. Okay, so bypassed. It works. So we know the jacks are good. The switch is halfway good, at least. Where does the battery terminal connect? I think it's the only red wire, so I guess we're looking at right there. And then there are numerous black wires, but they... Okay, so one connects these 2 points on the jack and one connects the battery. Let's tone them out. Continuity test. Okay. And let's just verify. The big lug is negative on a battery, so it's positive on the terminal. And that should go right here. Definitely does. And this one, okay, that all is working. To the pot. To the other pot. Other lug on the pot. And from here to here. No. Really? Oh yeah, because it's 69 ohms. So it's just past the threshold of beeping, but there's continuity there. It's just pot's adding a little bit of resistance. Okay, purple goes to the switch. So when this is bypassed, and we know it's working, we have continuity from here to... Oh, yeah, all right. From here to yellow, right? No, from here to yellow. Okay, and then otherwise, between these two, or between, is it the switch? There should be continuity between 2 of these terminals. Oh man. Oh. try that again. Bypassed continuity from the tip to the other tip. And when it's on, you should have continuity from this tip to here. All right, I mean, I might be overlooking something, but that could be a simple answer, is that the switch is dead. The switch was loose. We got banged around. Turning it back on. So we'll try. All right. I don't love that, but I'm going to check the voltage at the other ends. Should be negative 9 volts here because I'm backwards. Yeah, it is negative 8 volts because the battery's a little older. Thought I heard something there. And that's definitely bypassed, right? Yep. So we have 2 problems. It's usually something really simple, and this is a really simple pedal. So what are we missing here? There should definitely be continuity between 2 of these pins. I'm not 100% certain which 2 though. Okay, so those are shorting. And then when it's bypassed, they're not. Those 2 are. And then when I activate it, okay, so the blue is the common. That's what I wanted to know. Okay, blue is common. Purple's leading in there. And I think I'm going to tighten these terminals up because they're loose. Let's turn the amp back on. Time for a sip of coffee. All right, we're going to do a little tone tracing. Okay, this is coming from my signal generator. And it's putting out a very loud and high-pitched signal. Let's work with about 400 hertz. Oh, that's 40. Okay, that's about the right level for a guitar. That's bypassed. Here's amplified. And we're not getting anything. Now, let's try a little trick. Let's make a probe. Let's connect this to hot on the output. Now if I touch this to the hot on the input, it should pass sound. It does. Now if I stick it on here, we can poke around and see where the sound stops. Okay, so the yellow wire goes from here through the switch to the jack when it's bypassed, and it goes to this. Did I get that right? Oh, I'm following it the wrong way. Through the purple wire. And then I should come over here onto one of these. Really? That's the tip from the jack. It's like it's not making it that far. Is that... I'm going to do this in a more accurate way. I was trying to kind of cheat there so that I could keep everything grounded easily. Just a second. We'll stop that in just a second. Creating an antenna here. Oh, did these jacks get turned around inside the pedal? Is it that simple? Really? Oh, stop with that humming. That would be quite silly. Okay. That would have really messed with me. Okay. This sits in here like that, like that. That makes this the output, and this the input. Signal goes into the input. Amp connects to the... Oh, is this a shorting? No? It's not shorting. That's bypassed. That's effect on. Excuse me. Let's connect this here. Connect the ground. This is the point in the video where everyone who's smarter than me is like, dude, it's right there, do the thing. Okay. And we're gonna just trace the signal. There it is. It should be on one of these. Okay, and we're switching the output rather than switching the input, so I guess that makes sense. So the signal's coming in here through the yellow wire, and then it goes nowhere. Where else is it going? Only the yellow. Ah, it is going over here. All right. Okay. It goes through this resistor. Not a lot of signal left. That's going, that resistor's going to ground, okay. And that capacitor. What's on there? Over here, down to this resistor. And also up to here. Into this IC. I don't know the pinout for this IC. But we're going to have a look. We can see that these two aren't connected to anything. This one's not connected to anything, so it doesn't leave us a whole lot of options. This is power. That's going to ground. This is going to the pot. And there's nothing on it. Okay, this is coming over to a capacitor. I think that IC's toast. I mean, you would have to put signal out on something. Okay. It has signal going into the IC and not coming out. And it's kind of definitive, I think. There's no pins on that IC have signal coming out, but we do have signal going into it. I could look up the pin out, but I don't think it matters because there's no output on any of it. And the output's probably this, because it's coming around here, going over to a capacitor resistor network, and then passing back around to that orange wire, which goes to the pot. Let's trace the power. Move this guy over here, and this should be negative, I think. Let's confirm that. Yes. Okay, and we're going to follow the power. So power lands here. Yes. Power lands here. Yes. Power lands here. Yes. And the negative supply. You don't really have to. Let's see. If I touch on here and then here. Yeah, -8. Okay, so we've got -8. And we flow down here to the IC. -8. Now, I think there should be a bias voltage somewhere, so let's just check these other pins. -5. So, yeah, I mean, that looks all like exactly like it should be. Okay, let's give it another visual, make sure I don't see anything shorted. It shouldn't be. On the top end. Yeah, I don't see anything shorted there either. I've already looked in here. There's only a few connections, but yeah. I'm going to call it as that IC. Okay. I could be wrong, but I've spent my time on this already, and that's going to be my good enough call for now. All right. Thank you. Bye-bye again. Howdy again, homies. Well, we've probably all in this one video, which I'll chop down to be quicker. We've seen me take apart and fumble through testing this in the most awkward and unprofessional way, and under the presumption that I was going to be keeping it, since I waited well past the expiration date to, not expiration date, but you know, I only had a 3-day return window on this guy. It was purchased from a large retailer who has a 3-day window on vintage gear. Do the math. And before I ordered a replacement chip and broke out the soldering iron, and again, shout out to Scott at BMF Effects, who I just reached out to him asking if I was about to buy the right vintage ICs on eBay for this, having found some, and he was like, oh, I'll send you a few. Anyway, after that, he's a super cool guy. I called up the retailer. I thought, you know, let me just ask. They've had a lot of my money lately. Maybe they'll be kind to me. And if they weren't, that's just fine. I respect the rules. I broke the rules. It was my fault. But turns out, the guy I talked to is from Utah, where I am. He's into vintage pedals, like me. And he was interested in my YouTube channel. And he did me a favor and took it back anyway. So this guy's going back in the box, and they're going to take it back because they did sell me a broken unit. And I know I waited past 3 days to check it out. Anyone who watches this channel or who's bought anything from my company knows that I don't do anything fast. I'm a busy man. I've got a lot on my plate, and testing this little thing was not a top priority. But I'm glad they took it back, because I think I said I paid $65 for it. I was wrong. On the same order, I paid 65 bucks for that. I actually paid 119 for this, so glad to be getting refunded for that. Very kind of them. They didn't have to do it. I kind of suspect that part of the damage to this was because that foam rotted out and there's nothing to protect this. I wonder if I can use that. Or maybe that. Yeah. Okay, just to tighten it down enough. Let's see. I'll give them a better battery than what they sent me. Actually, I'm not. It's just going to knock around and damage things if I put it in there. So they're not going to get a battery. They sent me a dead one anyway. Okay. I will do this though. I'm going to just put a piece of 2-layered tape on the back of that PCB. There's a little bit of insulation. I mean, the chip's shot anyway, but dude, I wonder what they're gonna do with this thing. I bet they throw it in the trash. You know, is it really worth it to them to swap out the IC in this, hoping that that works? I didn't think it was worth it to me. They're a bigger company than I am. There. Just stick that on there like that. Yeah, nice and cleaned up. They'll be getting it back in better condition than it was when I bought it. Doesn't have their sticker on it. So it would be a shame if they just threw it in the trash, because the jacks, the switch, the pot, they're all worth something. And really, I looked and I did find some vintage ICs, so it could be op amps, it could be restored. But I'm not going to do it. I mean, I would just have a non-original one anyway. So for the cost, I'd rather just try and get a new one. A new vintage one, that is. All right, I need a box to send this back in. Okay. Well, I have one, but we're going to have to open some mail for that. So let's do it.